Do not make things that aren't authentic to you. Content that is made to rack up clicks and views, you will suffer in this new economy. For years, whatever is grabbing your attention first is what is going to prevail. It's just no longer the case. Now it's about AI-made content does not resonate unless storytelling, narrative building, etc., yada, yada, yada. It's all done for. Question to you, are you also getting the ick from anything that you see on your phone other than like text messages, photos, voice notes from people you know, friends, fam, whatever? This is a byproduct of the shift into a intent economy or trust economy. I'm not going to go into exactly what the attention economy is or was. I'm just going to be talking about how we can navigate this, particularly if you are someone who has a business online, makes content, just has a business, period, or like, if you do anything online. I'm going to just talk about a few things you can do to make your way through. This is also helpful for people who aren't actually making anything but are also consuming content, because we're all so tired. Feed fatigue is real. We are done with looking at shit on our phones and on the feed, but we're glued at the same, or I don't know, maybe we're not glued. Maybe some of you are out here and actually being conscious and living healthy, fruitful away from your phone, which is awesome. But for the most part, people are really glued to their devices. I look around at the landscape of the different formats of digital socializing, and everyone's just complaining about how tired they are. It's so weird. We're tired because of the feeds, but we're also tired because of the economic breakdown outside of the digital realm. But the breakdown is being charted digitally, obviously, and it's also kind of a byproduct of things that happen in the digital realm. It's a really odd time that we are living in, where there's kind of this feedback loop, if you will, where things happen in real life that affects the digital realm, digital things happen, then that affects the physical realm. And that is clear when we look at, for example, someone like Trump. It's weird how a lot of journalists, if you listen to other podcasts, some of the journalists that have spoken or analysed Trump, basically anyone who looks at politics, uses social media to draw attention or make predictions about what is happening, like in the White House, or what is happening with what certain politicians think about, or what their thoughts and opinions are on things. That is fucking weird, but that's what happened. Like, that's what's happening in our current day and age, because we've completely merged the two realms, the physical and the digital. Looping back, we're getting the ick from people, from our feeds. We're over it. We're over seeing shit on there, but it's almost like you can't look away. Obviously, everyone's been talking about like digital detoxing recently too, which is great. It's all good and well, and like culling and da-da-da-da-da. But the reality is these social things are here. They're here to stay. We have always been glued to some form of media or downtime as times have gone on, whether that's like watching television or... My point is, the social media thing isn't going away, and in true tech bro style, they're going to find a way to reinvent the wheel. They already have started reinventing the wheel by putting that little reshare purple button thing, floating thing on Instagram, where you can see what people who you follow and know, or who mutually follow you back, what they've reshared and da-da-da-da-da. As far as videos and posts and things like that, that's what gets promoted, not what has been liked. What I'm talking about now is how we can know that there's a shift. Because you might be like, how do you actually know that there's even a shift from attention metrics to trust metric? How are you telling that? That little tech bro, random Instagram little purple button is one of those signifiers of a clear shift from the attention economy into the intent economy or the trust economy. Because one of the ways that you can define this shift is that, we're not seeing likes, shares, blah, 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 all that. We don't care. about that anymore. For years, that has been whatever is grabbing your attention first is what is going to prevail. But yeah, it's just no longer the case. Now it's about, okay, who do we know? Who do we trust? What's the verified source? How long have they been doing it? Can we clearly see, right, exactly where this information or whatever is in front of our eyes is coming from? The more barriers that there are to seeing a real clear intent of things and depth and relevance to whoever is trying to speak to us, the less we can see that, the less interested people are in viewing whatever it is in front of them. That's the honest to goodness truth. It's really, really, really not about clicks, likes, views. And I have to say, content that is made exclusively for likes, comments, views, clicks, whatever, people who are doing that and make money just from that, you will not be making money anymore. Your time is done. Something that keeps coming up is like, because I obviously have a design background. Oh, are you scared of like AI taking your jobs? Or I see a lot of that kind of rhetoric around design and around other industries too. Basically every industry, unless you're a farmer. Or in healthcare. And I just need to say that AI made content does not resonate unless there has been quite considerable human intervention, I have to say. It needs to feel like there's only been the lightest touch of AI sprinkled throughout whatever it is that you're looking at. Even then, people are really sensitive to AI, anything that could be potentially be AI. For example, last week I was visiting a mate and this guy came in and anyways, he came and sat down. He was just taking a breather basically in my mate's, and I happened to be there, and he took a seat down next to me and we started chatting and just talking about all sorts of things. He's a videographer. Somehow got into AI and stuff, and he was like, someone followed me and they're obviously AI. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I was like, show me, like curious to see like what makes you say that it's AI. And so he whips out this bloody account. I have a look through and I pull up a few different posts, like historical posts, where obviously this person is just posting about their family and stuff and they're real, in amongst all of these videos which were so CGI'd and touched up, maybe by AI or maybe not, but they were so CGI'd that old mate who I was speaking to had genuinely thought that he was AI. It was such an interesting moment because he was so convinced. And I've actually come across this quite a lot recently, where a lot of people are thinking that accounts or people or posts or whatever are AI, because we're like all on red alert wanting to seek out this AI because we are so over it. A lot of people don't want anything to do with AI content because people are still stomaching the weirdness and the reality of bots producing things, basically. Yeah, but anyways, what I've noticed recently is everyone's really quick to jump and say that something is AI when it may actually not be AI, but because someone has signaled in certain ways that their content throws AI and then it puts people off their content. The predominant things about the signals inside of these people's content where, yeah, they're getting mistook as AI is this very polished thing, whatever polished aesthetic is going on, brushing your face, like brushing whatever, doing that. People are over that. And if they don't know you, then they're going to assume that it's an AI bot, someone of you, or whoever, or no one. You're just an AI bot because, yeah, we're so over that over-engineered look or experience of everything. Yeah. To round it out, if you make content using predominantly AI, or if you aren't like proofreading your shit, or if your content is not feeling really authentic and genuine, or if you're making content just to grab people, Mr. Beast style, for example, then, and to rack up clicks and views, you will suffer in this new economy which has emerged, which we are definitely trekking into. You will suffer. That's all I will say. So the moral of this story, if you want to click off now, like the 5-10 minute mark, do not make things that aren't authentic to you. and authentic to your brand, or really genuinely authentic to whatever it is, your purpose, who you are as a person, what your organization is about, if there is any, do an audit right now. Get your values, right? If you don't have brand values or business values or personal values, I don't know what you're doing. Go get those. Go do a little questionnaire, sort it out or whatever. Go and have a journey. Get your values up. Start thinking about your last 2 weeks and what you do, and have a look at your Google Calendar or whatever way you're charting how you spend your days, and start looking through and going, okay, where is this out of alignment? How is this content, or how is whatever it is that I'm doing, how is that actually out of alignment with my core values? Going back to the ick thing, actually, one thing I will say, and the reason why I even wanted to talk about this and discuss this, is that in the past week, I've just become so a little bit icked out, to be completely honest with you, with my usual podcast mill. I'm not going to name any names, but basically, if you go through the top 20 podcasts in US, UK, and Australia, and globally, most of my roster is, I'd say at least 80% of my roster is there of podcasts. And then there's like 30%. Oh, it's so hard. Okay, I follow all your main podcasters just to hear what they're going to say, but then also some of those I actually listen to on a regular basis all the time. We'll wait for the episodes to come out vibe. But then there is a couple of podcasts. The other 50% of what I follow in my podcast regime is like real niche podcasts, small creators, or smaller in comparison to the ones that are in the top 10. And what I listen to, I would say though, like 95% of what I listen to comes from the top 10 or 20 podcasts in the world, and then there's a couple that kind of slip through those cracks of smaller scale podcasts and stuff like that. And there's a few reasons for that. Anyways, what I am bringing this up about or for is the fact that this past week I've gotten so icked out by the main podcasts that I've been listening to, except for one. Yeah, all the main podcasts on my roster I've gotten icked out by, except for one, which is like, the Inspired Unemployed. I do love their podcast. And it's because the reason why I'm still listening to them is because they're funny and they're just talking about their life experience. They are not trying to teach me They are not trying to tell me from their glass castles or whatever what's what, how to live my life. And I've just noticed with some of these other bigger podcasts, they're just so out of touch. They're not hitting anymore. Like, they're great to come back to when something has happened, like a conflict has happened, or I need a problem solved, like relationship or business. If I really need like a hard-hitting episode about something specific in life. But yeah, I just am finding that this constant positioning of businesses or institutions or people as an authority, and because we are the authority, this is reputable source, then you must listen to us, and what we say is holy grail. Whoever we're talking to, who's the expert, it's giving me the ick. I'm icked out. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about the expert opinion anymore. I'm done with the expert, because what I realized is I was getting myself into a little hole of listening to the expert, and it would just constantly make me feel so bad about myself or how I was moving through life or my regular day and whatever. And I'm sure that this is the case for other people, which is the only reason why I'm talking about this. So now I'm just kind of like yeeted out of those podcasts, those kind of podcasts, and unless an episode really takes me, or like it's about a topic that really interests me, like right now I'm really fixated on economies. I mean, okay, low-key, I say right now, but low-key, I'm always fixated on economies as someone who cares about culture. Pretty obsessed with individuals' economies, local economies, global economies. Anyway, so that'll obviously keep becoming apparent as time goes on and as the podcast evolves and progresses. Back to what I was saying. We're done with the expert. The outs so far are polished, slick, collateral, bot collateral, I guess falls into that polished category, for example, okay? That's out, slick, collateral. Then also, what else is also out? Expertise, quote unquote. Okay? We don't care about you saying that you're an expert. Show us the receipts. If you're an expert, show us the receipts. Listen up, perk up your ears. Are you ready? If you are not clearly showing if there is not clear social proof or some form of proof that you are the expert that you say that you are, right? When I land on your feed, if you're in an interview and you're talking, and I'm like, oh, interesting points. I wonder where how this person has even gotten here. Like, I wonder how this has all come about. I wonder what gives them validity to the claims that they are making. If I, go hit on your account and I just see templated, like, if I just see a template of information that every Tom, Dick, and Harry has been posting about for the past month or two, you can bet I will hit that pause button so quickly. Like, I will eject myself from you. There is no way I've bought in. I'm not buying in. No one else is buying in, by the way, either, unless they're some schmuck, which I'm so glad that businesses are waking up to the fact that people are not schmucks. You know what I mean? Like, we're not out here to be played. We always hated it. We hate it even more now. Now we're really okay. If you're going to try and play us like that, right, we're just not even gonna click on you. We're not even gonna click the follow, whatever. We're not gonna buy it because there's many carbon copies of you also using AI to make the template or the Canva template or the this one Fiverr template we're done with that. We're done with that. If you plan on doing that, good luck. Good luck to you. Yeah. Back to what I was saying about Jack and Falx's podcast. It's basically the only one that I'm like happy to listen to and don't just like click off halfway through or 10 minutes in or just look at who's speaking and go, oh, I've had enough at the moment. And yeah, I truly attribute that to just where we're currently at as far as the collapse of the attention economy and the need for trust and intent and depth and da-da-da-da. I love, for example, and I don't know, I feel like there's a group of influencers, personal brand people, businesses who really, really, really have cottoned onto this and understand it because they were always good, genuine people from the jump. Maybe good is a stretch. They were always genuine from the jump. For example, Jack recently in one of the recent episodes since they started back the podcast, he was like, I really just don't like people after all the traveling that they did. It was obvious that he didn't really mean exactly that, I mean, even though he's kind of like doubling down on that in the episode. If you listen to the episode and what he had to say, he was saying that because he had had all of these experiences. It was real hectic. I mean, anyone would probably come out of the traveling that he did and whatever feeling the same way. It's moments like that where people are just really, really, really real that I'm absolutely, and not just me, everyone. I just spoke to my housemate about this. Everyone is obsessed with that at the moment. Another version of this was that recent interview with not Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been talking about her all day. The other one, Nicole Kidman. When Nicole Kidman went on Las Culturistas recently for about 2 hours or whatever. It felt like 2 hours, but it was probably an hour-long conversation. I found that episode from someone clipping it into a short and people writing about how unhinged she was inside of that episode, quote unquote. I saw the clips that people had made of her talking about the whimsy biz and whatever, and I was like, this is real whack. Like, I need to know what else she said in this. And so I was only really planning on getting the juicy bits, quote unquote, from that podcast of like her just saying the whack things and just getting the context to like the clips that I'd seen, really. But then I ended up listening to the whole episode of that. And I have tried to listen to Las Culturistas before and just been like, I don't know, this isn't really for me, because it really is just them doing the like cultural deep dives of like celebrities that have just really not been for me. So that's why I've never really listened to them before. But then, yeah, this one episode with Nicole Kidman, I was just obviously captivated to some degree orally because she was just so genuine in how she was showing up in this interview. And yeah, she sounded whack, but it was also just so refreshing to be hearing from I guess, someone in Hollywood about her life from this like super genuine angle. Yeah, and so yeah, the clips were, I don't know, they were funny, they were low-key abstract. I mean, if you watch the clips, and I guess they were kind of Moorish in that way. But they weren't like rah-rah. They were miles away from giving rah-rah in the sense of jumping out at you, OTT energy. She was just simply being weird. And that is what the level of weirdness is what made me buy into listening to the full ep. And I feel like, I mean, you go and listen to that episode. It is truly actually quite interesting to listen to her. Because, yeah, she just was so weird. And I guess as well, the reason why she's so weird in interviews historically, this wouldn't be the first time where she's said something real weird, or like she's just been so dry or whatever in interviews, or she's just said something completely off the cuff in interviews. The reason why she's like this is because she method acts. So when she is doing like promo or is coming off the back of a show or something like that, she still is kind of in character or whatever. That's a thing that allegedly happens with a lot of method actors. Anyways, that's what a lot of people on Reddit said, and I think she's even said that herself. I've seen what was written about how weird her interviews can often be. But yeah, the Las Culturistas one was real funny. It was just so fucking funny. All of this to say, I've gone on the wildest tangent. Let me pull this back yet again. We are going back to the top. We are talking about storytelling and how to prevail in the age of intent. I've been dropping gold little nuggets here as time has gone on. I'm probably going to have to listen to this back in order to figure out where the nuggets have fallen and wrap it up with a little bow. But honestly, I can't be bothered to do that. So likely it just is going to be what it is. Let me just have a quick look at what I haven't spoken about from my notes here. Whilst I'm going through my notes here, another thing that I saw recently, which is such a testament to the age that we're walking into as far as like the depth economy, Nurse Renee. Bit of a weird brand for me to be following, considering I'm a guy who doesn't wear any, I mean, look though, okay, maybe what I was about to say was going to be so sexist. Everyone can call me out on that bullshit. I don't mean to be like, oh, guys can't do blah, 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 blah. I don't mean to be like that at all. I just more mean like, I don't wear jewellery. I don't wear makeup. This is who is talking about Nurse Renee. Anyway, so Nurse Renee, which is this beauty spray brand, which I happen to be obsessed with, and it's really random because, I haven't bought anything from Nurse Renee and probably won't, except for maybe other people once the Korean skincare phase is over. So Nurse Renee, they did this video the other day. Okay, maybe I need to wind back. So the history of Nurse Renee videos is like, she comes on, her mum, I believe she's Greek. Her family comes on and she does basically spoof the Renee, I guess, or if that's her name, Renee, the owner of the business, the creator of the founder, whatever. It's a family run business. And so she comes on and she does spoofs of her individual family members, and particularly her mum. That's the ones I could gather. Those are the videos that get the most clicks. Not that I have intel on their metrics, but I could gather. Just because they pop up so much for me. They're really like kind of not really related to there's no like gotcha CTA like product call to action, nothing at the end of these videos or throughout actually. It's just these random funny ass fucking videos peppered amongst her more classic stuff, like classic you buy this product sort of thing, and UGC content. Literally, that's what I just fucking figured it out. That's why I follow Nurse Renee. I follow Nurse Renee for those funny family videos or whatever, the spoof videos, because I am obsessed. Like they are backbreakingly funny. To me anyways, the imitation of her mum is just perfect. The bug eyes of it all are just amazing. Like everything about these videos, I'm actually obsessed with them. I just want to get my phone out and watch one right now because it's just like, I'm obsessed with them. Recently, they did a video about a new product, but there was no call to action. It was just like it was basically the videos of the family, like the family spoof videos or like the mum spoof videos are obviously just done on like an iPhone or whatever. And so it's just, it really does feel candid, and it is. It's obviously candid to some degree, or whatever she's modeling, it's because her mum has literally just done that shit. And now as well, I love this. A bit of another step up, or another bit of insight into this. I hope everyone's following along with this. Another step up is recently she's now like not doing spoofs of her mum. She just will record her mum popping off about whatever the is. And it is actually, I think, having that comparison point of seeing just how funny seeing just how funny the mum is in reality, and then having that alongside the spoof versions that Renee does. So funny. And all this to say, recently, this is a great bit of marketing that they did or whatever. I'm going to just double check their Instagram. I feel like they just dropped a new product, but they didn't. This video, it's so random. It's, what is this? POV, Auntie reads your coffee cup. And it's like a fully polished video with the like nice camera, whatever, everything. And there's no product in this video whatsoever. You do not see a product once. But what you do see is Renee's face and lots of movement of it and of her face and whatever. And I guess that's what she's marketing. Seeing just how good her skin looks regardless of the expressions that are going on. Maybe she's even saying like, guys, look, I don't have Botox. This is just how good my skin looks because of the skin mist. Fuck, I should wind back. That's what Nurse Renee sells. It's this skin mist stuff that is just fucking amazing. So yeah, they've always got, oh yeah, that's right. Renee always looks like she's got like glass face basically, just from the mist that she uses. And yeah, basically she did this video, reads your coffee cup, well shot, obviously not iPhone. It's obviously a marketing video, but there's not a single product in there, and it's a product brand. And I am actually obsessed with it. And so many people I know have liked that video, if they happen to follow Nurse Renee already, and maybe even if they don't, love that video because it's just so funny. And it's like, we're not trying to be sold on shit. That's the point. We are not trying to be sold on Jack, but we also are at the same time. If you want to, here's another little nugget, listen up, open the ears. If you want to thrive in this new internet, do not just stop selling. Stop with the sell, rah marketing. No one cares about that anymore, right? And so at this stage, you might be asking yourself, what can I do about this? If you can't detect, okay, if you're like real stuck in that like attention economy cycle vibe and you are running out of ideas you're running out of making ideas, or you can't think of any ideas for your own business or whatever it is, your own brand or whatever, it's a clear sign you need to engage someone who's in branding, basically is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, engage someone in branding, which leads me to this beautiful little ad.
If you're forward-thinking and curious with a project on your heart or mind, visit provocations.com.au or email hello@provocations.com.au now.
I'll just try and wrap a nice little bow on the Easter eggs from this. Like, where we're headed, we want to see brands who are really clear. Like, we can see into your business. We can see who you are. We can see what you're doing. We do not want a polished, cut and dry, clone, copy. We do not want anything. We do not want the same, just to get niche here for a second, I guess, or whatever. We do not want the same kind of font on your video because it's the trend font. We're not wanting that. We do not want that. So please, immediately make your business and your brand as transparent as possible. Yeah, because trust is it, right? And in order to build trust, that's how you go about it, right? You make your intention known and clear. You say, we've got nothing to hide. So whatever way your business can do that, whatever way you can do that, figure that out. Oh, another little offshoot. This is what was wrong with the Met Gala, like why the Met Gala has gotten a lot of backlash and whatever. And I guess also billionaires, why people hate billionaires. Obviously because of the economical factors and whatever, but also billionaires are often very quiet and don't say anything. And I honestly think that's their whole issue. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen Bartlett, for example, is actually a billionaire or has a billionaire net worth. But because he's always talking about, I've done this, I've invested in that, I do this, I do that, I've now, and where he's come from and all that shit. Because of that, you don't see him getting all that much hate about the amount of money that he has or doesn't have. Whereas Bezos, always copping slack, whatever, and this rightly so. He's not out here hopping on interviews speaking about how he accumulated all the wealth and went about and what he actually does with that and whatever, and how he's actually divesting. That's a bit of a sidetrack. Long story short, create a clear window into your life, your business. Do not try to does, okay? Do not try to peddle any sort of story. Okay, because we can see right through that and we are so done with it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is sustainability is so important. I don't mean this in the environmental sense. I mean, in this economy, in the intent economy, the way that you are going to signal value and the way that you're going to be enabled to actually grow is through consistency. What is consistency also called? Sustainability. So sustainable practices. What does that actually look like? That looks like systematizing your processes and what you do. It also looks like building real connections. I put real connections in quotation marks because I think brands are loving to chat about that right now, or chat about having communities and this and that and this and that. Many marketeers have recently written about that, so you can go and view that. I might link some things if people actually want me to go through and link everything that I talk about. I'm happy to do that. Let me know. Lots of people have been talking about that. Marketeers. Everyone's got a community. People love to throw that word around, the community. My community is influences and things. But we don't want to hear about the community. We want to see community-driven initiatives, or what, for example, like lots of people have been chatting or talking about how events models for communities, right, within their following base or whatever is going to be the next big thing. And I reckon it will be inevitably. But looking even longer term, you need to think about how you're actually involving people inside of your business, which I think a lot of people have really tried to move away from, or whatever, in whatever form that may take, like whether that's the whole like I, me, we, no, I, me, no, we, and also, I built this myself, whatever. People are so disenfranchised from that. If you're out here saying you did everything yourself, no one cares about that. Show us whose backs you had to step on to really be where you are now. That's what we want to be knowing. So drawing this back to this second point, if I'll ever get there, sustainability, sustainable practices. How can you obviously bring efficiency and whatever into your business, but really knowing what you're optimizing for? Is this something that you're going to just throw away because ChatGPT just spurted it out and told you to do it, create this system and whatever, and then you try to action it and it's like, you find out it's not the right fit because it doesn't hit, or it's not getting you the things that you wanted, or my point is, start from the beginning and thoroughly go through the steps that you must. If you're asking me, I'm always going to say the step is brand strategy or some sort of strategy, initiating a strategic way for growth. And lots of futurists and innovators and people in growth marketing and predictors and physicists also say this. Start with strategy. Start with creating a framework and a deep procurement process of information to embolden you to do whatever the fuck it is that you're trying to do. That's the way that you actually create real sustainability, right? That was a big fat golden nugget that I just shut out there. So I hope you all were listening to that one, because I mean, I will bang on about that until the cows come home, how strategy and really starting at the beginning. I guess this is where like bottom up thinking, which I do every goddamn day, is my it's in an instant for me. Like that's my way of walking through the world, which could be a blessing and a curse. But in this context, in a marketing context or in a brand context or whatever, in a business context, it's definitely, and within the age that we're moving into, the age of intention, the trust economy, it is a blessing. And yeah, I would say definitely start there, everybody. Start with sustainability. Also, like sustainability can mean, like a good friend, we were talking and I was like, oh, I know I need to do X, Y, Z and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da and this and this and this and this and that shoulds and whatever. And she was like, you just need to literally go back to basics. What is easiest? What is easiest for you? What is natural for you? Which is why I'm here. Which is why I'm here doing this podcast. This is natural for me. Obviously, this will be cut down to size, but I know by the end of recording this, I'm easily going to clock almost an hour and a half of recording this on my own. I'm not even talking to someone right now, which is why I created this podcast, because I can talk all day and I have a million thoughts a minute. I mean, if you experience me as a person, this is what it's like. There's not much of a barrier between this experience and who I am as a person. And that's exactly what I'm talking about as far as a sustainable practice, because I could literally converse with people all day. I love it. It is one of my favorite things. Even though I'm quite introverted as well, I think I more mean within a topical container, I could converse with people all day. Like shifting from topic to topic, discussing things that are important to them or just important globally or whatever. I love knowing what people think about things. So that is what I could do all day. The veil is thin, basically, between what you're hearing right now and who I am as a person. Go away and figure out what version of that looks like. What does that look like for you? And do that. So yeah, that is the second nugget. The third nugget, which is, what are our new success metrics? If it's not likes and shares and impressions and all of this, what are the new success metrics? What's the new framework to measure value? The new frameworks are kind of leading into what I was saying before, which is that sustainability piece. You know what I mean? It's the quality over quantity argument, but for people, level of engagement. How deep do these relationships go? Is someone arriving to your account and clicking away, having a little glimpse, but then not following, and then they're clicking off? Or do they stop? Are you stopping them and making them scroll? Are you sharing something with them beyond information? What are you giving people? This is the success metric. People want to know, what value, what inherent value do you give them? Can they get it somewhere else? Are you the one? For example, Nurse Renee is that for me. I know about lots of other different brands. And I mean, I could go to Sephora or Mecca and then find organically like a new brand, like a new face mist brand to get amongst or whatever. But there's something about the Nurse Renee thing. First off, it's so clear that the quality of the product is there. Why? You see it on not just her face, other people's faces. They've all got that glass skin look. And you're like, what? How is that happening? And is this even real? How can this even be real? And then you go and you watch people actually spray that shit on and it happens. You're like, oh shit, that actually happens. All the while you're like there watching funny videos and skits with that product on the face or whatever. Like there's so much richness in that journey, right? And that's it's fully digital experience and journey. There's so much richness in that experience as opposed to walking into a Sephora or a Mecca and being sold on what's on the counter there. Yeah, no, that's all I'm going to say on that. That's the third one. How much richness are you and how much authenticity are you weaving into your whatever it is that you're doing? Oh, to the second piece that I was saying, reliability is really important. And with the first piece or the first thing, which is that transparency piece, you're reducing risk and uncertainty, right? Which leads to an increased confidence in outcomes. And it means that with our shortened attention span, have to spend less time making decisions. and brands become the default. So to use the Nurse Renee example, Nurse Renee will be the default. If I know someone who is looking for a face mist, I'll be like, look at this Nurse Renee brand. I watch these. I don't even have this thing, but this sounds like what you want, or this looks like what you need, or maybe it's the thing that I get for the Christmas Kringle at the end of the year, where or Bad Santa, some people call it, whatever that game, and everyone gets a gift and whatever. And then people go stealing. Like maybe that's what I get for the Chris Kringle, whatever. Yeah, shortening decision time through the trust piece. That's how you do that. The trust piece, so important. Way more important than spinning some story. No one cares about a fabricated story anymore. Stop doing it. This also goes the other way in the sense that it's not about peddling the nicest image. That's what I mean when I say it goes both ways. It's not about peddling the nicest image, peddling the nicest story, peddling an idealistic outcome or anything like this. It's about showing the receipts, showing the fruit of your labor, putting in the 9 yards, the extra yards, to prove that whatever it is that you have is genuinely amazing or genuinely going to change someone's life for the better. And I mean, how do you do that? Obviously, pretty pictures still valid, but yeah, it really beyond, I guess, the whole trust thing, it's care. It's care. Showing that you care. How can you show that you care? Not just about the bottom dollar, but about whatever it is that you're doing. Is your heart really in it? And I actually think that goes beyond branding and businesses too. Businesses selling to like consumers. I think within our interpersonal relationships, and even if you're like looking to get a job or anything like that, it's about, do you genuinely care about what it is that you're doing? If you don't, you'll be found out really soon and it'll be pretty ugly. Thanks for listening. I think I've covered all bases. There's a lot more I could say on this matter. Let me know if you want me to link things. I hope you found this to be quite interesting, and I will speak to you next week.